The roses that Arizona ships out accounts for about 3/4 of the U.S. rosebush market. But these aren't the flowers that you would see in your Valentine's Day bouquet. So far this year, Arizona has exported 6 million rose bushes. Community is an app that provides real-time data about flu cases in your city. But the Phoenix community is rallying to help kids like Bruce. Naked Mobile is located in the heart of downtown Flagstaff. And while it appeals to the shop local environment, the question is, can it compete with other mobile carriers? Thousands of tourists come out to go rafting every year, and this season, the water levels are considered exceptional. For these teams, it isn't about paddling first to the finish line. They invite families to come out and make their own pumpkin picking and fall season traditions. Proposition 206 doesn't just impact the economy, but how she runs her business and the community that she is a part of as a whole. 4,100 refugee families have resettled in Arizona since 2016. Despite debate over banning refugees, 2 volunteer groups are helping families find financial stability and community through the art of baking. Baklava and Turkish coffee are the staples in this Syrian refugee kitchen, and so is hospitality as they adjust to their new home.
We ran away from terrorists to save our families. We didn't like the war. We didn't like the violence. And no place like home, but your home where your heart is.
And Refugee Connection Phoenix and Syrian Sweets Exchange are showing these newcomers like Iman Ashopalap a lot of heart. The groups hope to dispel cultural misconceptions.
I mean, because they're lovely, wonderful people, and they are just, trying to do the best they can to fit into a world that's so different from what they knew.
The volunteer groups also try to set refugees up in business.
Yes, it helps us, and we can meet people through this event.
Like many Syrians, Lady Elzo is a skilled baker, and now she is selling many of her breads and pastries, which help support her family.
I think the first baked sale was so inspiring for everybody because they had no idea it would be such a big success. So we had more people show up than we had sweets to sell, which is a good scenario to be in.
The bake sales are quickly expanding to catering and other small businesses. This entrepreneurial spirit is not unknown to Syrian families. 11% of Syrians in America are business owners, according to the Center for American Progress. Aposhalap hopes that her work can help her children succeed.
Good future for my kids, because that I come here for my kids.
The next Syrian Sweets Bake Sale will take place at Congregation Beth Israel in Scottsdale this Sunday. The organizers say they will continue to plan events to help refugee families settle into the valley. In the broadcast center, Kanak Jha, Cronkite News. I'm here at the bottom of the Salt River Canyon where the Salt River flows through the state of Arizona. And if you listen closely, you can hear the rapids behind me. Thousands of tourists come out to go rafting every year, and this season, the water levels are considered exceptional. Tour guides from Colorado pack their bags and set up camp in the Salt River Canyon from February to May. This year, they expect to host thousands of tourists from all over the world.
I had some people from New Brunswick, Canada. I've taken people down from India. Sometimes there's Chinese tourists that come through. It's one of those things that attracts people from all over the world. If you're a river enthusiast and you hear the Salt River is running, they come.
Grady has been rafting these rapids since 2013. At that time, the river was flowing at about 500 cubic feet per second. Today, it has reached 18,000 cubic feet per second. The increase in water flow is due to the snow caps melting in the White Mountains.
The last time we had this kind of a spring was probably in 2010, so 7 years ago. So it doesn't happen very often, but get out and visit the state parks.
Rafting veteran Joe Greiner says Arizona wilderness is an experience tourists and locals should not miss.
Your heart's racing because there's people potentially coming in behind you. Once you get loaded up again, you paddle out into below the waterfall and look back at this, Death Falls. That day when we discovered that the wilderness trip was now accessible to everyone was pretty exciting.
While it is accessible, you either need to go with a guide or get a permit to raft by yourself. In the Salt River Canyon, Kanak Jha, Cronkite News. It's holiday season in the Valley and people are gearing up to be with family, but not everyone will get to go home this Christmas. Bruce Clark Fry is a patient at the Phoenix Children's Hospital.
We are in the hospital for Christmas. We skip Christmas when it's in the hospital, and we do Christmas when it's not Christmas.
Many children are in the hospital for serious illnesses and will spend their holiday season in care.
But the Phoenix community is rallying to help kids like Bruce, and that's where Wings, or When in Need, Grandmas Serve, steps in. They've organized the Festival of Trees fundraiser in order to support kids and their families at the Phoenix Children's Hospital.
The fundraiser at the Scottsdale Fashion Square aims to raise money and awareness for preventable injuries, which is the leading cause of death in children. Wings member Kim Cullum hopes the fundraiser will help some families financially.
There is a very significant portion in the tens of millions of dollars that need to be made up between the amount that is reimbursed for underinsured or uninsured families and the cost of the care that a child receives there. And those funds are raised in the community.
The designer trees, wreaths, and ornaments will be auctioned and displayed to spread holiday cheer. Wings president Rona Kaysen says these funds could help bring some kids home.
Well, there are a lot of people out in this community who care a great deal about you, and we're working all the time to get you home with your families.
The festival and fundraising will go from now until November 29th. For Cronkite News, I'm Kanak Jha. When you think roses, you probably think California. Desert dwellers might be surprised to learn rose growing in the state goes back to the 1950s. I took a trip out to Litchfield Park to learn more about the current industry. Blistering summer heat is headed our way, but that doesn't stop the roses in Arizona from blooming. Noelle Johnson is dedicated to finding the perfect desert rose.
So the roses I have in my garden are put here to see how do they do, and then the growers ask me for my feedback. So one of the most exciting things for me is getting free roses in the mail, and I put them in my garden and see what happens.
Growers around the world ask Johnson to test rose variations for durability in the desert heat. We might not think roses will last here, but Tyler Francis says the climate is perfect.
We grow over 1,000 different varieties of rose bushes on this farm, and of that we have 50 different reds. So there's a lot of different variations, and the best thing to do is the one that draws you in is the one that you should buy.
Francis Roses is one of 4 commercial rose growers in the state. In December, Francis will ship out about 5 million bushes. The roses that Arizona ships out accounts for about 3/4 of the U.S. rosebush market, but these aren't the flowers that you would see in your Valentine's Day bouquet. Stem-cut roses are imported from overseas and might last you 2 weeks, but in Arizona, planting a rose bush that blooms almost year-round is easy.
Roses get a bad rap for being finicky, but they're not. They're very, very hardy plants. If you give them just a little bit of love and attention and you water them, you don't need to be a pro.
Francis says the rosebush industry is worth about $500 million and is a significant part of the state's agriculture.
I would really like to see the 5-season in R, because we are the cornerstone of the entire rose industry here in Arizona, and I think it's something that all Arizonans should be proud of.
As for Johnson, she says we can show our pride by getting out our gardening gear.
Grow roses, life is short.
So far this year, Arizona has exported 6 million rose bushes. Rose growers say they've seen the growing process become more streamlined and expect more consolidation in the industry in the next few years. In the newsroom, Kanak Jha, Cronkite News.